Oh, hi.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
Can you remember
I just found out, not long ago.
See the stuff?
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Very
I'm so impressed.
Smoking turkey, fresh turkey,
Literally.
chicken. I saw some fish there because I love fish.
Are you sure?
Oh my God.
Show me because I'm actually, they've even got chicken.
Look at that one. Everything is full.
Oh my God. Wow.
20, great Chittenden Street.
Oh yeah.
Soul food.
Food, and they open from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you're surrounded by the area, please come and shop.
Great.
Also on Sundays, most shop close on Sundays, but you've already opened from 10 to 4
a.m.
as well.
to 4 p.m.
And the quantity is a lot as well.
Amazing
So
quantity, amazing price.
Yeah. What kind of fish is this?
Wow, croaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yellow croaker.
Yellow croaker.
Yeah.
I should probably try this.
It's just amazing. Look at that. There's chicken there, chicken legs. You love chicken legs. All the veg are there. And the amazing thing is they're opening the beauty upstairs where they can sell products.
Oh, yeah, the owner was saying, they have so much to offer.
So much choice.
So much to offer.
Everything. There's even pondu for Congolese people.
Matembele as well.
BC, everything's down there. Amazing.
Like, if you look around, the meat as well. The range of meat is really, really amazing.
And fresh, you can tell.
Fresh as well. So we can't go wrong. I just love it. I'm really, really loving it.
Right, for black people out there, give a hand to our brother.
Definitely. Support the black business.
Black business.
Exactly.
This is the time.
This is the time.
This is the time. We need to stand up.
We need to stand up, definitely. Wow, amazing. Around, obviously, talking about a desk shop. We've got the car parking space. You can.
Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the Chit Chat Show. Today is Wednesday, and today we're going to talk about smoking, quitting to smoke in our community. We've got a guest here with us. I'm going to let him introduce himself. But please, first of all, want to thank Venice TV for allowing us to have this time here, and also Walmart UK for supporting the program. So please, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Franklin Davis, and I work in the healthcare industry, and I'm also an entrepreneur. So I'm a farmer back in my homeland, Nigeria, but I grew up in Germany. So I've been in the UK for about 17 years now. And thank you for having me.
So fantastic. Before we go on with the questions, I'm just going to talk a little bit about smoking in the Black and African community. So in the UK, in total, we have about 14.7% of people who smoke in the UK. The majority of this number is people from white background. So people from Black and Asian community they have the lowest number of people smoking in their community. However, today we're going to talk about how smoking affects people from Black and African community differently, and whether we even know much about smoking, and we're just going to try to get some more information. So we're going to chat also to Franklin here. Could you please tell us, growing up, did you know much about smoking?
Growing up, what I can remember, it's my paternal grandmother and maternal grandmother smoking pipe. And
okay, right.
That is what I can remember. And when I was still growing up, my dad showed me a trouser that he had that was burnt by a cigarette that he said he used to smoke, and that was what actually made him to quit. So apart from that, I didn't see my mom or my dad smoking, or any of my siblings smoking. So, but yeah, people around, I do see them smoking, and that's.
Yeah. But was
I
it
can
a
remember.
lot when you're growing up? Do you think there's a lot of people smoking, or is it something? It was only a few people here and there.
There was a stigma behind smoking back then, and there wasn't a lot of people that I know that were smoking, and you looking at someone smoking back when I was young, it's like, oh, what's this person actually doing? You know, this person must be a very bad person to start smoking, and some people were actually smoking, you know, in a very secluded area and not in public. Those are the things that I can remember when I was young.
Okay. Well, I did manage to get some information from the Action on Smoking and Health website. They did a research, and this was published last year actually, and their latest database was of 2017, so it's pretty recently. And they say that the smoking rate of adult men in the UK was 17%, and the smoking rate of adult female or women in the UK was 13%. And in men, black men from African or Caribbean background did 14%, and women was 7%. So women tend to smoke less than men do. What was the belief around smoking when you were growing up?
Okay, from my own perspective, it was like, okay, if you're smoking, you're cool, you're strong, and yeah, people will be scared of you. And it was something cool to do, something a very few people actually will say, okay, they wanted to be associated with. So that plays a key role, actually.
So you said you're a smoker yourself, or you were. When was the first time you held a cigarette and started smoking?
Let me put it this way. All right. I tasted my first cigarette, I think, when I was really, really young. A lot of people will not believe that I was still in primary school. Yes, that was my first cigarette, but
how did you get hold of the cigarettes? That's really, really young. How did you get hold of? Was this here? Was it in Germany?
No, it was actually
in Nigeria?
It was in Nigeria.
Right. Okay.
You know, I actually, you know, because cigarette at that time, children could buy it. I think it still happens in African countries that children can walk up to the shop and buy a cigarette.
Yes.
But mostly they believe an adult have actually sent that child to buy it. So that was how I got my first cigarette with 3 of my friends, and we smoked it together. But I wouldn't really call that smoking, but that was the first time that I held a cigarette in my hand and put a light on it.
Okay. Was it just to see what it feels like, what you see with the other adults? Or?
Yes, definitely, that was it. And after that, I didn't smoke until I got into secondary school. That was when I actually started smoking.
So why do you think you started smoking again? Well, obviously because you tried once, you know, in primary, and then in secondary school you really did pick up the habit. Why do you think that happened? Do you know what was the reason that made you?
I think that was just being around peers that were smoking. You know, I was in the boarding school, so being in the boarding school, sometimes when they allow us to go out into the community, and we just think we want to feel cool and have a fun time, you know. So that was how I started smoking.
Okay. And do you think that you were aware of the dangers of smoking at the time? Was there any sort of, because I remember when I was in Africa, you know, although people smoked here and there, I kind of knew it was bad because, you know, there were adverts here and there, but there was not much information why it was bad. Did you have that, or was there anything to warn people that smoking was bad for you, for your health or anything?
Let me put it this way. Not in the really health aspect of it, how deep it goes. You get told, oh, smoking is not good for you, smoking is bad, and that's the end of the topic, you know. It's just a headline. Mm-hmm. So nobody actually got into it in detail, in that to say, okay, these are the effects that you get later on. Although my family didn't know I was smoking as at that time, so I think I would have got a better advice. But so that was what actually happened as at that time.
Okay. Well, you know, in a lot of people at the moment, you know, whether in the past or now, are not aware of the dangers, of the serious effects of smoking in the Black community with Black people. Smoking makes it much easier to get this disease, or the risk of getting this specific disease becomes quite high. So if you're from an ethnic minority background, we are more susceptible to these diseases and the further increase the chances of ill health if you smoke. For example, stroke, diabetes, and cancer. So people are not aware because Black people tend to get stroke, you know, whether you're from African or Caribbean background, we tend to get stroke a bit more earlier in our lives than our white counterparts. People are not aware of that. And diabetes, for example, if you're someone who already has diabetes and you're taking insulin, smoking, it's believed, you know, there are studies out there that prove that smoking stops the insulin from working. Therefore, you're more likely of dying from diabetes or having a premature death due to diabetes. And also with cancer, although Black and ethnic minorities are less likely to get cancers, there are many different types of cancers than our white counterparts. We do the lung cancer. You're more likely to get lung cancer if you're a heavy smoker. So with this information, how long did you smoke for until you decided to quit? Because you told me that you quit and then you go back. So tell us, how long did you smoke for?
I will say that I smoked for over 25 years. Yeah.
And how many packets, for example, did you smoke?
I wouldn't say I smoke a packet of 20 a day, no. I will rather put my about 12 stick a day as at that time when I was really smoking. I stick to one single brand as at that time. When I became aware of the health impact it will have on me, or it was having on me, I thought, okay, I will stick to one single brand and just make sure that I know exactly how I can manage that. And
could you, before you carry on, could I ask what sort of health impacts were you getting?
All right. I've got bronchitis. I didn't really know that until later on when it was diagnosed. I know my mom used to say, okay, you've got pneumonia when you were a baby. And yeah, so that is, so when I began to see the impact it was having on me, that was when I started deciding to quit. But it was already there. It was difficult to quit. I managed to quit for 5 years. And although I will put it this way, it's quite a difficult habit to really drop. It could be years of you not smoking, but because you've started, you've done it once, and through several situations, you might just start smoking again. So that's what I would really say have transpired. So I noticed that by the time I stopped smoking, that I didn't really have problems with my bronchitis anymore. And I was really feeling healthy. And I could see it on my skin that I was really healthy for that 5 years.
Okay, fantastic. And what measures did you take to stop smoking? What was the help available there? Did you find enough information and support around to help you quit smoking?
Initially, I tried to quit just like that for maybe a week or two, and I fell back to it. So at the time, I sought assistance with the smoking cessation here in the UK, and they gave me patches, and I used that, but I didn't really. It helped me for a bit, for a couple of months, but I wasn't really happy with the effect it was having on me. It was giving me nightmare.
Oh, okay.
Sweating at night and all that. So when I stopped using the patches, I started smoking again, unfortunately. And but years down the line, I tried again. And this time I spoke with the nurse, and she said, okay, if you have a problem with the patches, we've got the inhaler. And I tried that, and it really worked. I noticed that I didn't really need a cigarette.
All right. I didn't know there's an inhaler too.
Yeah, there is. So I used that, and it was really helpful. There was also a plastic pipe to it, which I just placed on my mouth. That was making me having the feeling that, okay, I have a cigarette there, so I don't need to smoke. Until somebody said, you're not actually using that anymore. Can you drop it now? At the office, so that was how I dropped it.
Okay. What about the what they call now, they're very popular, the vapes, the Viper, is it Viper?
The vapes.
The vapes.
So I didn't really use any of those because as at the time it came into the market, I've already quit smoking. But my advice is I wouldn't advise anybody who has never smoked before to try it. Even people that are smoking, I wouldn't advise them to try it as well, or to switch to that, because you're just switching from one addiction to another, in one way or the other. And we don't know what the long-term effect is because it's still relatively new in the market. And so we don't even know if that will be worse than the cigarettes that people are currently smoking or the tobacco.
I mean, there's been information outside that it could possibly be worse. There have been, I think, at least 2 cases where people have died from smoking the vape. I'm not sure how reliable these sources are, but a lot of people are using the vapes as a way of quitting to smoke. But as you said, perhaps it's not a good idea because you just stop one, you stop one addiction and start another. what's the difference? Do you know? Could you tell me the difference between the vape and the cigarette? The usual cigarette.
Apparently, the vape doesn't have nicotine in them, and because I've not really done any research on the vape or tried it myself, I wouldn't really go into details in that, due to the fact that I just believe that there are some chemical component that will be in there that will just still give you that feeling of you having a cigarette or you smoking a tobacco. And yeah, so that's why I think about it.
Yeah. So there's also, issues with health inequality, to the help out there for people and the help and support for people from BME community who are trying to quit to smoke. Study shows that there is a strong link between tobacco use and socioeconomic. Also, people's status. They say the poorer you are, the more likely you are to smoke. Do you believe in that? Is this has a
Okay, in that aspect, I don't think the poorer you are, you're more likely to smoke. That hasn't got anything to do with it, because if you're poor, you'll be thinking about choosing between smoking a cigarette or buying a meal or putting food on the table. Yeah. So I don't really believe in that. But what I just think is that because why they will be making that statement regarding being poor and likely to smoke is that if you're going through stress and you've ever smoked before, then you just want to hang on to something, to take the edge away and feel that you're doing something, but actually, yes, you're doing something bad to your health, and it's not really that helpful. I should take that advice myself. So, but that is the real feelings that I have about it. So I don't think that statement is a statement of fact. It's just that people just kind of like, okay, if I just have to go through my stress, then let me just get something to hang on to. Some people hang on to alcohol, so
whatever.
Whichever just keep them going in life. So it hasn't. I don't believe that statement.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't think it made sense myself, because I don't know. Like here in Europe, a lot of people have decent life, so I'm not sure. And I noticed people with more money tend to have more bad habits, like addictions, smoking, drinking and stuff. So I wasn't sure. Another thing they say, it's the attitude and beliefs. It's believed that people from ethnic minorities tend to have less knowledge of the dangers of smoking. This maybe could have been true a few decades ago, but do you think it still makes sense today? Even when if you tend to travel back home, do you think that the knowledge of the dangers of smoking is still not quite in the community? It's not quite there. Is there any change?
I think in this DNA age, I think everybody knows the effect of smoking and being addicted to anything, whether it's a cigarette or hard drugs or anything. So I think it's there in the community. However, I will say, because from my own understanding, in Africa, people actually are not really diagnosed with things like that and being shown to others. This is what has actually cost this person the illness, because they would just put it, okay, give it the headline, it's cancer, but nobody ever actually tells you
the roots of it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think the information is there. People can find out what effect it has on the body, and so I think people are, I will say, informed about it. But how well informed, or how much of those information they take in and retain, or want to listen to from the beginning to the end, that's another. That's
Yeah.
But they actually still know what it is a little bit better than what I knew while growing up.
So if you don't know, if you're from a Black and Caribbean, African background, you know, quite a few diseases are triggered by smoking. So please, when you're taking that cigarette, think about that. And if you're a young person and you're thinking that maybe it's cool or whatnot, you know, there are consequences to smoking. So think about that. So how many times, you said that you managed to stop smoking for 5 years.
Yeah.
How many times have you managed to quit smoking? Do you think, like, properly?
Before that 5 years that I quit, I tried several times, to be honest. There were days that I would buy a full packet of cigarette and smoke just one out of it. And I'll tell myself, well, you need to quit, and I'll destroy it. Yeah. But 3 days down the line, I will go back to it, you know. So so I tried several times. I would say, you know, between 5 to 10 times over that 25 years. Well, I was really glad that I was able to do it for 5 years.
Okay, very good. Do you have children yourself?
Yes, I do have children.
Did you ever smoke around them, or?
No, I don't smoke inside the house. I go to the back garden. I don't want them seeing me smoking in the first place. They know I smoke as of that time, and you know, but I do all my best to make sure they don't see me smoking.
Yeah, this was something as well. I remember while growing up, the people I knew who smoke, you know, my uncles and stuff, but they never used to, unless they're a bit distracted, chatting and stuff, before you know they're lighting a cigarette. But maybe another thing that, you know, could, maybe like older people didn't want younger people to start smoking, so they'll kind of hide away when they're smoking and stuff. So
yeah, I would say that statement is fact, because I wouldn't want any of my children to smoke.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate that I started it at the first place. If I hadn't started it, I would have been very, very happy about it. But that's actually what happened, and I think every adult or everyone who's a smoker should just encourage the younger generation or whoever hasn't smoked before not to actually try it.
But how, if you're already doing it, how do you do it? Do you tell your children that smoking is bad, don't do it? And if they say, but you smoke, what would you say? What would you tell them?
I would tell them what the fact is, that when you become addicted to it, it's difficult to leave. And and I wouldn't wish they go into that situation, because you'll tell yourself, okay, I will just smoke one and I'll leave it, and you stop with it for life, to be honest.
You can also add in that it's a very expensive addiction, smoking.
Yeah, it's expensive. to say the truth, because those that actually smoke a packet a day, I know how much a pack of cigarette actually costs these days. It used to be cheaper, but now, you know, the increase in tariff, and I think, yeah.
I remember there used to be, last I checked, but this was a few years ago, you know, a packet had become like a five pound or something like that. And my colleague that I used to work with, she used to smoke very, very heavily. And she'll go through like a pack a day or a pack and a half. And when she tried to quit, so this is like five pound or so every single day, on top of buying food. And, you know, she managed to quit or stop smoking. She was putting the money in the jar, and in a period of 2 months, she saved over £400 or something like that. So, you know, it can be quite expensive.
Yeah, it is very expensive, and not smoking inside the pub or the club actually really helped a lot of people to save money. Okay. Even smokers, everybody know that, or smoking around in the office, because if it was still allowed to smoke in the office or in the nightclub or at a bar or restaurant, people tend to just light up and smoke. But when you think about going outside to go and have a cigarette, a lot of people have reduced. A lot of people have quit that way as well, because they didn't want that discomfort to them. But people initially felt, oh, it was cool to sit down in the office, have your nice ashtray, you know, buy the best light, you know, and yeah.
I've never actually thought about it, you know, that could actually, that's a very good point that you've made there. I don't think a lot of people have realized, have noticed the difference. You know, the stop smoking indoors system actually helps some people quit, and others just smoke less.
Yeah.
Wow, very good. So you told me that you started smoking again. Can you tell me why you started smoking again?
All right. There were some, I actually managed all that years. There was an incident whereby I lost a very good friend of mine, and may he so rest in peace. And I managed not to smoke. I was telling myself not to, but as the stress over the months got to me, I started smoking again, unfortunately. But at the moment, I'm trying to stop again. I've prepared myself to do that, and I've got my inhalers and preparing for a day whereby I would decide, because it's a psychological thing as well.
Yes.
That, okay, you know, something triggers it, and just like the first time that I stopped for 5 years, you know, I just woke up one morning and I decided that today I'm just gonna smoke. But actually, something actually helped me on that very day, because the very nurse, I can't remember her name, when I went to my GP and I told my GP that I want to stop smoking that very day, he told me, sorry, I can't help you, and he said, go and see the nurse next door. I went to her and she told me as well, sorry, I can't help you, but you can help yourself, and these are the things that I can recommend. So I was like, okay, this is really annoying that nobody can help me.
Yeah, once you're told only you can help yourself.
Yeah, so that was actually the biggest trigger that made me to quit. But unfortunately, going through those stress and I felt the urge to, just smoke again, and and that was how I got back to it.
Okay. There's this stop. I can never say the word stop.
Stop-October.
Yeah, Stop-October,
Right, yeah.
which is that people do. It's a challenge that people do during the month of October to try to help people try and quit smoking. So, did you try that, or is this a bit too?
I don't really follow trend. I once tried it 7 years or 8 years ago. Like, okay, it's October. I was sent a packet with things to read, how much I would save and all that. But it didn't really turn out well for me. I think I probably did it for a day or two. But it's kind of like an encouragement to actually do it, being that for those people that have health issues relating to cold and flu, because smoking cigarette actually aggravates those things, and being in a cold weather, then you will then start having problem with it. So if you can actually stop during the October when it start getting cold, then believe it or not, I think you will pass through the winter period without any incident of you having cold and flu, because your immune system will actually be strong enough to take it.
So, guys, as you heard it from Franklin himself, smoking does really put you at a higher risk of getting all sorts of things. It weakens your immune system, and we've learned it can trigger early stroke in Black and African communities, minority groups, and got the cancer, the lung cancer as well, and just trying to get more information. There's also the risk of dying of diabetes, like premature death due to diabetes. So please try and go out there, do the research. You can get help from the NHS as well as the Smoke Association. And if you want, or if you're one of the people who is trying the Stoptober challenge, well done to you and good luck, and hopefully you'll be able to hold it on and carry on. So this will be it for today, and thank you so very much for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, hi, Natalie.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
Can you remember
I just found out, not long ago. Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Very amazing.
I'm so impressed.
Smoking turkey, fresh turkey,
Literally.
chicken. I saw some fish there because I love fish.
Are you sure?
Oh my God.
Show me because I'm actually. They've even got chicken.
Look at that one. Everything is full.
Oh my God. Wow.
20 great chicken street.
Oh yeah.
Sal food.
Food, and they open from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you're surrounded by the area, please come and shop.
Great. You're
Also
welcome.
on Sundays, more shop closed on Sundays, but you've already opened from 10 to 4
a.m.
as
to
well.
4 p.m.
And the quantity is a lot as well.
Amazing
So we can't
quantity,
deny.
amazing price.
What kind of fish is this?
Wow, croaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yellow croaker.
Yellow croaker.
Yeah.
I should
Everything
probably
there.
try this.
It's just amazing.
Amazing.
Look at that. There's chicken there, chicken legs. You love chicken legs. All the veg are there. And the amazing thing is they're opening the beauty upstairs where they can sell products.
Oh yeah, the owner was saying, they have so much to offer.
So much choice.
So
There's
much to
rice,
offer.
Everything. There's even pondu for Congolese people.
Matembele as well, matembele as well.
Matembele, BC, everything's down there. Amazing.
Like if you
And
look
the price
around,
is
there's
amazing.
the meat as well. The range of meat is really amazing.
Very,
So
and fresh, you can tell.
fresh as well.
Look at that.
So we
Look at
can't
that.
go wrong.
Amazing.
I just love it. I'm really loving it.
Right, for black people out there, give a hand to our brother.
Definitely. Support the black
encourage
business.
Black business.
Exactly.
This is the time.
This is the time.
This is the time. We need to stand up.
We need to stand up, definitely. Wow, amazing. around, obviously talking about a desk shop. We've got the car parking space. You can tell for yourselves. They have a great capacity to, you know, accommodate many cars. So if you follow me, as you can see, they've got a few customers around here. This is basically the car parking space, and yeah, you're welcome to come at any time. Again, it's at number 320 Great Cheetham Street in Manchester. So just between there's a McDonald's. As you go past the McDonald's, you'll find the shop at the end. It's called Eliz. Hopefully we get to see you. Like we said, it's a black owned shop. So let us support the business for our black people. And yeah, this is pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, like again, you can see